Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be ranking all of the books that I have read so far this year from worst to best. Now I wanted to do this just on a little bit of a personal level for you guys. I wanted to do this because, to be completely honest, I have been in the worst life slump, book slump of my entire life. The life part has gotten a lot better since quitting my job, but because my job had so much to do with reading, I was the manager at an indie bookstore, and since quitting there, my relationship with reading I thought was going to immediately get better, but it's still on a slug. I still have not fully come back to that part of myself, even though the rest of my life is pretty much evened out, knock on wood. But yeah, so we're working on it. And I do feel it getting better, but I wanted to do this wrap up a little bit differently to kind of aid in it feeling a little bit more fun. So yeah, so all of these books, I have 11 to talk about today. And these are all of the books that I read from January to February. The thing that was the most surprising to me is that there were a lot of books that I was really excited to read that I did not like at all. And that was a little bit hard for me, but not every book is for every person. And one or two of them I'm willing to give another shot and reread. And some of them I just don't ever want to see again. So let's start out. I have my reading journal here so I can pull up my reviews, and let's start with the biggest disappointment so far this year. It's a really hard one for me, and that is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. A moment for her fingernails on the book cover though. Like, this book cover is, I think, really great. I love how provocative it is. I think that this was everything that she wanted to do with the book. For me, the writing style of this book, of this novel, and me did not click at all. I could not get behind the mundanity of the stream of consciousness. And normally I'm totally good with that. Like, that is normally not ever a problem for me. But with this book, it was just like I remember in one of the opening scenes, she's like in the dollar store and she's like, and I walk through the dollar store and I pick up this item and I second guess it, and so I put it back. And then I go and I get this item and I really decide that I want it because I love Cheetos, and then I put it in here. And then I go here and then I go there and then I go here and then I go there. And that part to me was hard. And then the other part, and I think this is a personal problem, when I was the age of the character in this book, I was not aware of my body in a sexual manner as much as Waldo is. And so I had a hard time relating to that part. However, I do think that what Jeanette McCurdy is trying to say with this novel is really fantastic. I think it's really important. I do think that she leaned a little bit into her own experiences having an age gap relationship. It didn't have the substance that I wanted it to have, and it just fell really flat for me. And I was really sad about that because I was looking forward to it. I am 100% going to try her next book. I think she has so much promise as an author in the literary escape. I really do believe that. And I just think for some reason this one missed the mark with me. So next is another huge disappointment because I was looking forward to this book so much because it is hyped in the sci-fi fantasy space so much, and I was really looking forward to it, and I did not have a good time. This is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, and okay, there were elements of this book that I did enjoy and did appreciate. I really liked the storytelling aspect of it. I really enjoyed the political aspect of what was going on here. But the story, for me, I just did not connect to any of the characters. I was not invested in them emotionally. Parts of it did remind me of one of my favorite fantasy series, which is the 5th season, in which you're trying to figure out what this story is and you're plopped in the middle of it, and there is not really any explanation to the magic system or the world or what has happened in the past. You really have to pay attention and piece it together for yourself. And so there were elements of that where I was like, ooh, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to keep reading and it's going to be awesome. It was just not there for me. It did not, I think it had substance and I think it has merit in this genre. It just was not for me. And sometimes, guys, a book is not for you. And that is completely okay. Not liking this one or the other book that I'm going to talk about in this genre does not make me less of a sci-fi fantasy reader. It just wasn't for me, and that's fine. I just could not get behind the story. The decisions that were made were just so odd to me near the end, and I just couldn't wait for it to be done. I'm not even lying, I just could not wait for it to be over. Next we have a historical fiction novel. This is Maya and Natasha. This is about, oh, I just realized I didn't really say what the other ones were about. That's really awkward. Okay, this one is about two twins that are born during the siege of Leningrad, and their mother is a ballerina, and they get adopted by a woman who was the mom's best friend, and she also was a ballerina. And so they have grown up around ballet. Ballet is a huge part of their lives. They both decide they want to become ballerinas. And so they go to this school in Russia that is specifically for ballet dancers, and ballet is such a huge part of Russian culture. So that part of the story was really nice. I really, really loved seeing that. And essentially what happens is they are about to graduate from this school and audition to be a part of the ballet company, one of the best ballet companies in Russia. But because they travel to America and because they travel to other countries and the government is concerned about people defecting, no two family members can be admitted into the company at the same time, and so therefore only one of the twins is able to get chosen. And this incites a betrayal, and nothing is ever the same again for these twins that used to be inseparable. And I think that this would be a fantastic movie. I think that this would be a fantastic movie. I want to see the costumes, I want to see the sets, I want to hear the music and watch the choreography. I think this would be so great as a movie. As a book, I did rate this 2.75, which essentially means for me that I enjoyed it enough to not DNF it, but I wouldn't recommend it to people. And the reason for that to me was, while I found the setting compelling, while I found the story compelling, I just was never hooked. I was never invested. And you'll see the theme for me is that I really, really want to feel invested in my characters that I'm reading about, and I really, really want to feel like I'm grasping onto them, if that makes any sense. And I just felt very disconnected from what was happening in this book, even though I was interested in it. That was the really strange part of it for me, and that might be the book slump of it all. I mean, to be completely honest, this one really might be the book slump of it all, because while I was interested, I just never felt gripped. I never felt like I had to keep reading it. And so it just fell kind of flat for me. And to be honest, I can't really put my finger on why. It just never was like there for me. So next we have probably the one that I'm gonna get hate comments about not liking. And you know what? Sometimes that happens for people and I have to be okay with that. And I'm gonna stand on my opinion. I am going to, and here's the thing, I didn't hate this book. Like now we're at the 3.75 range. Okay, so now we are at the range of which I would recommend it to people. Enjoyed a lot of elements of this book. Like this is where we're at now in the worst to best, okay? We're like right in the middle. This is perfect middle of the road book for me. I don't think this is the best thing ever written. And I think that a lot of people in the fantasy space think that this is the best book that has ever been written. And I don't agree. I'm sorry, I don't agree. That is The Sword of Kagan. So I rated this book 3.75 stars, which again is a high rating. Like it's not bad. It just wasn't great for me. And I think, to be completely honest, it's because of the overhyped nature of this book. I cry at everything. I am not even joking. I cry at commercials. I cry listening to songs. I sob watching movies. I sob reading books. I did not cry during this. And I promise, guys, I'm not heartless. I promise I'm not a heartless person. I did not cry when reading this, and I did not prefer it. I didn't. And the thing is that I hear so much like, oh, I was sobbing, I was weeping while I was reading this book. This is the best fantasy book that I've ever read. And I got to the point where I knew I was supposed to be crying. And I literally had to sit for a second and I was like, am I a robot? Like, why am I not bawling? I don't know. I was just like, is something wrong with me? Nothing's wrong. Well, something was wrong with me when I read this book. I just said that I was mentally ill at the start of this video. But like, this book and me did not emotionally connect. On an intellectual level, as far as politics and magic system and setting and character work, like the character work really is great. The character work is fantastic. The emotional element was not there for me. I was not extremely emotionally invested in these characters. And so therefore, that's why it wasn't a 5-star for me. That's why it wasn't a 4-star for me. All of those elements that I said previously is what made it a 3.75. And that's just where I was at with it, guys. I'm not going to say a lot about what elements I was not emotionally invested in, because I do think that that is going to lead towards not spoilers necessarily, but hints at what the spoiler could be. So I'm not going to say specifically what I didn't connect with, but there was a huge element that I didn't connect with. I'm definitely going to give her another try. I have a friend and he told me that he felt similarly about this book to me, and he loved Blood Over Brighthaven. He said that you can definitely tell that she has grown a lot as an author, and so it's sitting right over there on my shelf. I'm definitely gonna give it a shot. This one, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I'm sorry to this man. Please don't hate me. We take a little bit of a turn. Next, we have some books that I normally don't read. I normally don't read from these genres. Sorry, I'm going in my notes. I needed a fun time. And Noelle Gallagher, where are you, girl? I miss you. I miss you so much. She was a YouTuber on here for a really long time. Fantastic YouTuber. She has so many great videos. Her channel's still up. I would recommend still watching her videos. All of that to say, I remember I hope she's doing well. I hope she's doing well. She went through near the end of her YouTube career a little bit of a similar brain situation to what I was in at the last half of this year, beginning of this year. And she said that reading Tessa Dare really helped with her depression, really helped her come out of it. It was a fun, enjoyable time. And I was sitting there and I thought to myself, I'm gonna try a romance, like a Regency romance as medicine, and it worked. It was fun. I rated this a 4-star. I read this in one day. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it's not anything super complicated. I was not expecting this to be so funny. I was really not expecting this to be such a funny, charming time. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. Basically, we have the Duke of Ashbury. Got a little bit of a Beauty and the Beast situation going on here, not even gonna lie. I eat it up every time. Belle was my favorite. I eat that shit up every time. Package it differently, give it to me again. I'm gonna wanna read it. And basically, the Duke of Ashbury was in the Revolutionary War and a bomb blew up in his face. Half of his face and half of his body are completely disfigured. We have a whole Phantom of the Opera situation going on here. And it has turned him into where he once was the super funny, vibrant, zest for life man. He is now a shell of himself. He's pissed all the time. He's rude. He's not a nice person. He's very blunt. He is just he's just not having a good time with life, you know? And he needs to get married. I can't remember why. Something, you know, something to do with what you had to do back there in Regency England. He had to get married. And a seamstress who is broke, she's poor, she walks into his house for a reason, and he lays his eyes on her and he says, "You'll do. You'll do." And so it's a marriage of convenience, and he offers her, you know, wealth and security and all of these things that she does not have. And she has her own past that she's dealing with, and, you know, what always happens in a marriage of convenience, people, you know, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but it's a fantastic time. It's so good. I had so much fun with this. I thought that the side characters were so intriguing. I was so jazzed to find out that this was a like interconnected standalone situation, and it was just great. It was touching. There's like this weird side plot that is just so entertaining. I had a great time. Okay, another maybe semi-unpopular opinion, but this is Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I gave this a 4-star, not a 5. I'm sorry. But a fun time was had. I read this because I knew I wanted to watch the show. That was non-negotiable. Had to watch the show. And sometimes with adaptations of that nature, sometimes I feel the need to watch or read the book first. Sometimes I don't. This was one that I really felt compelled to read before watching. So read this in one day, watched the show in one day. It was a great time. It was a great time. Highly recommend. And essentially, we all know what this is about, guys. We all know what this is about. And if you don't, where have you been? And I think the reason why I rated this a 4 instead of a 5 is because while the sex was great, the sex was hot, it was a fun time, it was great, it was just so much of it, and where it did have a lot of emotion, I felt like so much of the book was it all just being about sex. And I need a little bit more than that. But also I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything about their journey. I would not change anything about how they came to realize that they loved one another. I wouldn't change any of that. It felt like something was missing. And what I think I felt was missing from this was reflected in the show, if that makes any sense. The show was a 5-star for me. I think getting to see their acting and the emotion on their face of what was in the inner monologue really, really sealed it in for me. And so, yeah, that's just how I felt. Don't come for me. Read it. Like, I'm not, again, Just because this was not at the top 5-star doesn't mean I don't think you should read it. I had a good time, I swear. Okay, so this one needs a little bit of a backstory. I'm gonna take you on a little bit of journey, like a 2-second journey. Don't click off. 2-second journey, I promise. Where it was announced that Brooke Averick was releasing Phoebe Berman is Gonna Lose It. And I love Brooke. I have been a longtime follower of hers. I think that she is super funny. Followed her on Goodreads for a really long time, on Instagram, all of that stuff. And they, going through the catalog, like the day that this was announced, I emailed our publishing rep for this publishing house and said, listen, if you get physical arcs, please give me one. Please, please, please. Like, Heather, please. Love you, Heather. Love you. Miss you, girl. And she responded and said that basically the publishing, like, because of how high profile this book is, because of a lot of things go into whether or not a book has physical arcs now, especially in the way that the publishing industry works. A lot of factors go into whether or not this gets them. And she said that they already knew that the digital arc was not happening. There was not going to be any digital arcs. There was only going to be physical, and she had no idea how many they were going to get. Now, yes. And so she said, but I will keep you in mind for if I hear anything. I said, perfect. Thank you, girl. Knew I wasn't going to get it. I was like, there's no way. I was having a god-awful day. I was having a terrible day. It was not great. I needed a win. I needed a win so badly. I go to our mailbox, get the mail for the bookstore, and my name is on a package. And I'm like, what? I'm like, my name? My name is never on the package. It was always the bookstore or the owner. And I was like, what did Heather send me? Like, what is this? Again, guys, I had asked for this months ago. I completely forgot. The way I squealed when I opened the package and saw this, I squealed. I was so happy, and it was great. It was great. And I was like, this is gonna cure me, I think. I was like, I think this is going to solve all of my problems. And guys, it did. I had so much fun with this book, and guys, it was good. Like, it was actually really good. And I think that sometimes when a internet personality, whether it be a YouTuber, podcaster, someone who is not initially a author when they enter in the space, I think that there is a lot of skepticism about whether or not the book is going to be good, or whether or not they just got the book deal because they're famous. And I think that is a warranted concern. I think that that is something that happens in the publishing industry a lot. And I think that it's happening currently a lot. And so I was a little bit nervous, but guys, this is actually good. This is actually very, very good. I rated this 4.5 stars. And it has merit, and it stands on its own without Brooke's name attached to it. And I think that that is what is so great about it. And I think that Brooke was the person to write this book. Our character Phoebe has a lot going on upstairs. A lot going on upstairs in the brain. She has really bad anxiety specific to dating and her love life. Every single time she's about to go on a date or thinks about going on a date, she vomits, like projectile vomits everywhere. She's so endearing. She's so endearing as a character. And so she decides that she has a month until she turns 30, and she is going to lose her virginity. It is the most important thing to her. And the ride and the journey that she goes on to accomplish this goal, and the emotional journey and the character development that Phoebe and her friends go on is so good. There was a plot twist that I was reading, and I like audibly was making like shocked noises because I did not see it coming. The book completely went into a different direction than what I thought it was going to. And at first I was pissed, and then I loved it. And I just had such a good time. I am so excited to see where her literary career takes her because I think that she just has so much potential as an author, and I'm just really excited to see where the wind takes her. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Now, this was my first Toni Morrison, and this was also her first novel. This was her debut, and you can see I adored it. This book was really hard. Yeah, like I just cannot believe that I am a lover of literature and it took me so long to start my Toni Morrison journey. Kind of ashamed about it a little bit, and she just has always seemed an author to me that I knew I was going to love, but I know how hard her books are, and so I kind of was like, I'm kind of scared a little bit, right? But, and rightfully so, because it's hard, like, and it's hard. But within the difficulties of these characters' lives, there is some of the most compelling and beautiful writing that I have ever read. I cannot believe that this is her debut. Like, I would talk to Ray about it, and I would like pull out my book at work and I would be like, listen to this sentence, and she would be like, and it only gets better. And I just don't understand that. I think it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. We're gonna read Sula next. I'm very excited about it. The structure of the book is so intelligent. It's so intelligent how she wove this story together. And these characters are gonna stick with me for a very long time. Essentially, we have Pecola Breedlove is our main character. We're actually never in her brain, which I thought was a very interesting choice, and Toni actually mentioned that in the introduction to this book. And we see Pecola's lives through the people around her, through we get flashbacks of her parents, we get friends that fostered her during a period of her life, and other people in the town. And essentially, Pecola is the girl to two parents who are so... The father's horrible, and the mother is a very interesting take on motherhood. And Pecola is ugly. That's how she's described. She is ugly and unintelligent, and oh shit, my camera's gonna die. Okay, I'm back. I had lunch, my camera is charged, and I just realized how long I've been filming for, so we are gonna speed it up a little bit. But all of that to say, Pecola's family does not like her, and all she wants is to be beautiful, and she believes that having blue eyes and being stereotypically beautiful will make her worthy, and that's all that she wants. And it's really sad. It's such a good analysis on poverty and race and beauty standards and all of that stuff. While I didn't enjoy reading it because it was really sad, I enjoyed reading it because it was really good. It was one of those, I cannot wait to continue my journey with Toni Morrison and read everything she's ever written. Okay, three more, promise. Okay, next was Cursed Daughters by I always say this wrong, Okan Braithwaite, I think is how you say it. Oh my gosh, guys, I loved this book. This was the last book that I led with my book club, and everyone loved it so much. Essentially, we have a woman who is pregnant, and while she is pregnant, her cousin passes away. And on the same day that her cousin dies, she gives birth to a baby that everyone thinks is the reincarnation of her cousin. And the women on their family also have a curse on them that every daughter that is in this family will never find love. She will never find peace. She will drive the men that love her away, whether that be by death or circumstance. And it is all about that daughter trying to break the curse and find out who she really is. And this was so good. This was so good. The magical realism, spiritual elements of it were so fantastic. The whole concept of like a self-fulfilling prophecy was really great. This was such a good stance on bodily autonomy and how much do you owe your family, how much do you owe yourself, and it was so great. And I cannot recommend this book enough. I think it would be amazing for book clubs. I think it's amazing if you're in a reading slump or if you're trying to be entertained and emotionally invested in the books that you're reading. I cannot say enough good things about this book, and I probably would talk for a lot longer if I didn't want this video to be an hour long. And second to last, we have The Correspondent. Oh, also, I didn't say the last 4 are all 5 stars. So this is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. And this book holds such a special place in my heart because I needed it so badly. I really, really did. Basically, it's an epistolary novel. If you haven't heard of this book yet, if it has escaped your brain space, this is an epistolary novel, which means that it is told through letters and emails. And we have our main character, Sybil. She is an elderly woman and she has been writing letters her entire life. And so we get to see the letters that she writes and receives. And through these letters, we see the course of her life. And it is so beautiful. It's so touching. I was bawling by the time that I finished it. It was absolutely so fantastic. I am so glad that it was nominated for the Women's Prize for Literature. And I think that everyone should give it a try. This is one of those books where I'm like, every single person, no matter where you're at in your reading journey, no matter what genre you typically stick towards, everybody should try to see if this book is for them because I just really believe in it that much and I loved it. Okay, and so the very last book, my favorite book that I have read so far this year, was also just nominated for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and that is The Beast Slinks Towards Beijing. I loved this book so much. Oh my God. I loved it. It was so great. Basically, this book takes place in America as well as China, and it's tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of, I would check trigger warnings for this book. They're just to kind of give you a glimpse of what the trigger warnings might be. We are following 3 different generations of a family. First one, starting out in Manchuria before the Japanese invasion, if that tells you anything. And then after that, we follow her son during the Cultural Revolution. And then we follow his daughter in modern day America. And it is, it's so fantastic. There are amazing, well done elements of magical realism and spirituality and dreams and curses and like mythical beings done in such an elite level way. I cannot believe that this is a debut novel. I really, really can't believe that this is a debut novel. I was so impressed. And on top of all of that, the setting is so real. It's really astounding. The sentences, the way that she wrote this book is so rich. Like, it is such a rich book, and the character development is top tier. The way that these people interact with each other and the way that our main character in present day is interacting with her father, like, it's just really great. And if you have daddy issues, you might be thinking what I thought when I was reading this book was, get out of my head. I've thought that sentence before, get out of my brain. And it was just, aside from that though, like, it really is an immaculate piece of literature, and I'm not even joking. I think this is 1000% going to be in my top 5 of the year. And I am so excited to see what the rest of Alice's career brings her, because I just am so impressed by her. Just a little bit more of the synopsis without saying too much, because I do think that you should go into this book knowing as little as possible, to be completely honest. Essentially, it starts in present day, and our character is having a crisis of her life. She feels very lost. She also is having these nightmares pop up again that she has had in her entire life, reoccurring, that she doesn't understand. And her father shows up on the doorstep of her childhood home, who she has not seen in, I think, like 20 years. And so then we're following her relationship with the father. We are reflecting on why the father left and what familial curses may have ensued, the horrible things that he chose to do and did to others and himself and his family. And then it all begins with his mother in Manchuria during the Japanese invasion. And that is really the crux of where everything happens. And so this is a really good story on generational trauma as well. It sounds like it's doing a lot. It sounds like it might even be doing too much, but it's really not, I promise you. That is A Beast Slinks Towards Beijing. Okay, so those are all the 11 books that I've read so far this year. I have been actually having a pretty great reading month in March. It's looking like I'm going to read more than 5 or 6 books, which is what I've been stuck at for a while. And I'm just really excited for where the rest of the reading year is taking me now that I'm feeling like I'm coming out of this slump. If you're in one, I feel you. Keep trucking, we'll get out of it. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.